I'm Ava Monroe. I'm 34 years old, and 2 weeks ago, at exactly 1:42 in the morning, my phone lit up with a message that cracked something in me I didn't even know was still holding together. It said, "Hey, are you seriously not coming to your own birthday party?" I stared at the screen like it was glitching. My birthday party? I hadn't planned one. Nobody told me about one. And for a second, I honestly thought it was a joke. But then my cousin tagged me in a story, and that's when everything changed. The video opened with soft music, fairy lights glowing like something out of a Pinterest board, champagne glasses clinking, people laughing. And then the camera zoomed in on this massive white cake. 3 tiers, gold lettering. It said, "Happy 30th birthday, Madison Monroe." Madison, my younger sister. Same birthday, same damn day. Different story. I replayed that clip at least 10 times. Not because I didn't understand what I was seeing, but because I was trying to convince myself I wasn't understanding it correctly. Same date, same family, same house I grew up in, and somehow only one daughter existed in that moment. I didn't cry. That's the weird part. People always think moments like that come with tears, right? Like some dramatic breakdown scene. Nah, it was quieter than that. Colder. Like someone just walked into your life and deleted your name without telling you. I called my mom. Of course I did. Because there's always that tiny, stupid part of you that hopes there's an explanation. She picked up on the third ring. Her voice was light, distracted. "Oh, honey, I was just finalizing—" "Mom?" I said. "I just saw Madison's party." Silence. You ever hear silence that feels guilty? Yeah, that kind. "Oh," she said finally. Just, "oh." Not, "I'm sorry," not, "we meant to tell you," just, "oh." "It's on my birthday," I said. She sighed. Not a sad sigh, an annoyed one, like I'd just made things inconvenient. "Ava, it's her 30th. That's a big deal." I blinked. "I'm turning 34. "Well, you've had birthdays before." That right there, that line, it didn't just hurt, it rearranged something in me. "You couldn't include me?" I asked. "We didn't think you'd want all that attention," she said quickly. "You're more low-key." Low-key. That word. That label they give you when they've spent years ignoring you and need a way to justify it. "I didn't even get an invite," I said. "It wasn't personal, Ava." Not personal. My own birthday. Not personal. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because something in me snapped, real clean. "You rented a venue, didn't you?" Pause. "Ava, how much?" Another pause. "Around 10,000. $10,000. On my birthday, for my sister, and somehow there wasn't space for my name on a card. I hung up. Not dramatically, not yelling, just done. That night, I sat on my kitchen floor. No lights, no music, just me and this weird, heavy silence pressing down on my chest. And for the first time in my life, I didn't make excuses for them. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. It's not the moment that breaks you. It's realizing that moment wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern. Every birthday growing up, Madison picked the theme. Madison picked the cake. Madison picked the guest list. And I was just there, like background noise, like an extra in someone else's movie. When I was 12, I wanted a pool party. Madison wanted unicorns. Guess who got unicorns? When I turned 18, I asked for a dinner with my friends. Madison wanted a DJ and a dance floor. Guess who got a DJ? By 25, I stopped asking, Because at some point, you realize you're not being overlooked. You're being taught your place. And mine was invisible. But that night on my kitchen floor, something shifted. For real this time. I wasn't sad anymore. I was clear. So I stood up, walked to my laptop, and for the first time in 34 years, I planned my own birthday. Not something huge, not some over-the-top revenge moment, just something real. A rooftop dinner, string lights, good food, people who actually chose me. I made a guest list, and it was small, intentionally small. My best friend Jess, who once drove 5 hours just to sit with me after a breakup. Marcus from work, who never forgets anyone's birthday. Tina, my neighbor, who brings me soup when I'm sick without being asked. People who show up, not when it's convenient, but when it matters. And then there was one name I almost didn't write. Lena Carter, Madison's former best friend, the one my family cut off 6 months ago, the one they all called toxic, the one nobody asked questions about. I stared at her name for a long time because something about her situation felt familiar, erased, rewritten, blamed. So I sent the message. Hey, I don't know what really happened, but if you ever felt pushed out like I did, you're welcome at my birthday. She replied in 2 minutes. Say less, I'll be there. And I had no idea that one invitation was about to flip everything upside down. Because while my family was busy celebrating a version of reality they created, the truth was already cracking underneath it. And on the night of my party, someone was finally going to say it out loud. Not in anger, not in revenge, but in a way that would make it impossible to ignore. And trust me, when that moment hit, there was no going back. The night of my party didn't feel like revenge. It felt calm. And that's what made it dangerous. The rooftop was simple. String lights, soft music, city skyline glowing in the background. No giant banners, no fake energy, no performance. Just people who actually wanted to be there. Jess hugged me the second she walked in. Damn, she said, looking around. This is so you. That hit me harder than anything my family had ever said, because nobody had ever used my name like that before. Not as an afterthought, not as a comparison, just me. People trickled in. Marcus brought this ridiculously overpriced cake like he was trying to win a baking show. Tina showed up with candles and said, "We're doing this right." And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I was waiting for something. I was already in it. Then Lena arrived. She stood near the entrance for a second, like she wasn't sure she was allowed to exist in that space. I walked straight to her. Didn't hesitate, didn't overthink it, just pulled her into a hug. "You made it," I said. She laughed softly. "Yeah, didn't think I would." And right there, I realized something. People who've been erased, they recognize each other instantly. We sat down. Drinks were poured. The city hummed beneath us. And for a while, it was just normal. Laughing, talking, real conversations. No one asked me why I wasn't at Madison's party. No one pretended anything. They just celebrated me. And then Jess stood up, tapped her glass. "All right," she said. "I gotta say something before I get emotional and ruin my makeup." Everyone laughed. She looked at me and her voice softened. I've known Ava for 12 years, and I swear, this girl is the most overlooked solid person I've ever met. The table went quiet. Not awkward quiet, listening quiet. She shows up, like really shows up. When my mom was in the hospital, she was there every single night. Didn't post it, didn't tell anyone, just did it. I swallowed hard. Marcus chimed in from across the table. Facts. She covered my entire project last year when I was going through stuff. My boss still thinks I did it. People laughed. But here's the thing, Jess said, raising her glass. Somehow, the people who should have seen that the most, she paused. They didn't. And yeah, that stung. But it wasn't new. Anyway, she smiled, tonight ain't about them. It's about Ava finally getting what she deserved a long time ago. Glasses lifted. Happy birthday, Ava. And just like that, something inside me softened. Not healed, but seen. Then Lena stood up, and the energy shifted. She wasn't smiling, not nervous either, just steady. I don't know Ava as long as you guys do, but I know what it feels like to be cut off the second you stop playing along. The table stilled again. I was Madison's best friend for 8 years. A few people exchanged glances, and one day I asked a question I wasn't supposed to ask. I took a breath. I found out she wasn't working anymore. Silence. She got fired, months ago, and instead of telling the truth, she built this whole story about a promotion. My chest tightened. Even though I already knew, hearing it out loud hit different. I didn't expose her, Lena said quickly. I didn't go around telling people. I went to her, privately. I said, hey, let's figure this out together. She laughed softly. Next thing I know, I'm blocked. I'm labeled jealous, toxic, crazy. She looked down at her glass. And everyone believed it. No questions, no second thoughts. The room was dead quiet. Until tonight, she said, looking at me, and I realized it wasn't just me. She raised her glass. To Ava, for being the only person who didn't need a lie to be worth celebrating. Glasses clinked, but softer this time, heavier. And right then, I knew. This wasn't just a birthday anymore. It was the beginning of something breaking open. The party ended around 11. People hugged me longer than usual, like they knew something bigger had happened. I got home, kicked off my heels, sat on my bed, and for the first time in years, I felt full. Not from attention, not from validation, but from truth. Then my phone buzzed. Jess, you good? Marcus, that was real tonight. Tina, proud of you. And then, a notification from Instagram. Madison viewed your story. Then again. 5 times at 12:47 a.m. My phone rang. Madison. I stared at it. Let it ring once, twice, 3 times. Then I picked up. What the hell was that? She snapped. No hello, no pause, just anger. What was what? I said, calmly. That girl, Lena. Why was she there? She's my guest. She's a liar, Ava. Is she? Silence. You don't know the full story, Madison said, voice tightening. Then tell me. Another pause. Longer this time. You're really gonna do this right now? She asked. You called me. Her breathing got sharp, uneven. You always do this. You play the victim and make everyone feel bad for you. I actually smiled, not because it was funny, because it was predictable. I didn't do anything tonight. I had a birthday, people spoke, that's it. You invited her to embarrass me. No, I said quietly. I invited her because she knows what it feels like to be erased. That hit. I heard it. You think you're better than me? She snapped. No, I said. I think I stopped needing your approval. Silence. Heavy. Then softer, almost breaking. Ava, please don't ruin this. And that's when it clicked. Not anger, not guilt, fear. She wasn't scared of me. She was scared of the truth catching up. "I'm not ruining anything," I said. "I'm just not covering for it anymore." I hung up. And that was it. No yelling, no dramatic ending, just done. The next morning, my mom called, crying. Of course. "How could you do this to your sister?" I closed my eyes, exhaled slowly. "I didn't do anything," I said. "I stopped pretending. She's hurting. So was I, for 34 years. Silence. "You're being dramatic," she whispered. I laughed, soft, tired. "No," I said. "I'm being honest." And then I hung up. That week, everything started shifting. Not loudly, not instantly, but quietly, like cracks spreading through glass. Families started asking questions. People noticed inconsistencies. Stories didn't line up anymore. And for the first time, I wasn't fixing it. I wasn't explaining. I wasn't smoothing things over. I just stepped back and let the truth do its thing. Madison blocked me everywhere. My mom stopped calling for a few days, then came back, softer, careful. My dad started texting me, random stuff, weather, TV shows, "Hope you're good." It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and that mattered more than anything we had before. A month later, my mom called again. "I'm sorry," she said. No excuses, no performance, just those 2 words. And for the first time, I believed her. Not because it fixed everything, but because it was honest. "I'm not cutting you off," I told her, "but things have to change." "I know," she said, and for once, she actually meant it. I don't talk to Madison, not yet. Maybe someday, maybe not. But here's what I do know. I didn't lose my family. I lost the version of it that only worked when I stayed small. And in its place, I built something better, something real. Because at the end of the day, I didn't get revenge. I got my life back. And honestly, that hits way harder. So if you've ever been the one they overlooked, the one they rewrote, the one they expected to stay quiet just to keep the peace, listen to me. You don't need an invitation to exist. You don't need permission to matter. And you definitely don't need to shrink just so someone else can shine. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is build your own table and sit at the head of it. Happy birthday to me, finally.